evening, everybody. Welcome to this Plans B meeting for the Town Council. Before I start, can I just say that this meeting is filmed, recorded. It'll be on the internet in a couple of days' time for anybody to see. So as long as everybody's happy to be seen in public if necessary, we'll continue with the meeting. I will, just very quickly before we go through our agenda, just explain how the system works. Some of you already know this. We as the Town Council make comments on all the applications that cover our, that come up through the town, all the areas of the town. Can I say quite clearly that we have no direct power? Our comments go forward to St Albans. The ultimate decision on any planning application is made by the officers in St Albans. If a reason, it comes to the planning committee in St Albans, which is Plans North that covers Harpenden. We also cover Redbourne, Wheathampstead as well. Then it comes to a committee who make the ultimate decision with the recommendations of our officers. For something to be called into committee, you need to ask your district councillor with a justifiable reason, not that you don't like it. We need a planning reason for it to be called to committee. I should say I sit on that committee as the Harpenden South representative on the district council, as a district councillor as well. So if I can give you anybody any help, I'm happy to do so. But the decision we take tonight is only really on paper, just to guide you. Okay? Yes. So, right, we'll go on with our agenda, and I am going to go through, as many of you will know, we've got 40 items on the agenda tonight. I'm not expecting you to sit through this, so I have pulled, my colleague has pulled out all the ones that we know we've got people here. We will do those first. I'm very happy for any of you to stay as long as you like, but out of courtesy, you signed the book, and we will let you know the results in writing, if we've got your name and address, after this meeting. Okay. If I can say also, sorry, regarding speakers, on any application, we do allow one objector and one person speaking for the application. They're allowed 3 minutes. They come up to the table here and speak to the committee. Okay. I'm a little bit lenient if the conversation's finishing, but I don't let you speak for 10. Okay. Out of courtesy to everybody. Right. So we'll start. Any apologies for absence? No. So we're all present and correct. Good. Thanks very much. Do we have any declarations of interest?
There's just one slight one, in as much as I'm a member of James Marshall Foundation, 5163652. Obviously, we still own the superior lease to the freehold of that land. But I'm advised that it doesn't.
I don't think that would come to a vote, so I don't think the fact you declared it is.
Yeah, preference is declared rather than not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right. Is anybody happy with the minutes of the meeting on the 29th of November? Happy with that? Although I wasn't here, I think the rest of you are here. So
I'm willing to approve then.
Yes. I wasn't here for the last meeting.
Chair, did you want to just mention that I'm not a non-voting member of this committee?
Yes, you're sitting here as a town councillor, and I will allow you to have your couple of minutes to speak on the applications you've notified me about. That's housekeeping out the way. I'm going to explain the reason why the agenda is so big tonight is because we've got 3 periods of planning applications because of Christmas and the New Year. It's not usually this long to everybody. But anyway, we'll go to our agenda, to the list of applications. And before we start, can we go to page 12, colleagues? And we will do. This is the 15 Westminster Avenue one. It's reference number 5, 2016, 3482. It's a basement floor to create garage with vehicle lift, light rolls and staircase with external access, part single, part 2-storey side and rear extension, incorporating a rear orangery with roof lantern, new chimney, rear patio and associated landscaping. So we have with us here, so we have Mr. Smith, do we?
Yes, we do.
We'd like to come
Yes,
down
of course.
here and put your 3 minutes to, and you're speaking against.
I'm
Okay.
speaking against. So I'm from number 13.
Okay, thanks much.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening regarding the extension and basement car and boat park at number 15 Rockhampton Avenue. So we live at number 13 Rockhampton Avenue, which is downhill from number 15, adjoining to the northeast. The proposed extension includes a level change at the rear of number 15, providing a raised patio and an orangery, and would be sited within 2 metres of the common boundary and extending 8 metres beyond the rear of our rear elevation, number 13. The proposed basement car park is in part justified by the need to accommodate a boat and is of significant size. It's wider than the proposed house extension and comes within 500 millimetres of our boundary. The plans demonstrate that it can accommodate 4 vehicles in line because the basement runs the depth of the house, but actually it's so wide it could accommodate 8 vehicles. I've made that point to the neighbour next door. So the combination of the close proximity and level change, the depth of the proposed development, 8 metres into the back garden, and the impact of the raised patio would have an undue overbearing impact and result in a significant loss of privacy for us, result in the loss of late afternoon sunshine to our patio and garden, and cause undue noise and disturbance even when the raised patio is in reasonable use. In our view, it would be detrimental to our residential amenity and is contrary to policies 69 and 72 of the district plan. The proposed basement car park and boat storage is of such a large size relative to the size of the house to be extended that it cannot be considered ancillary to the dwelling house. Consequently, it would be contrary to policies 69 and 72 of the district plan and representing an incongruous form of overdevelopment detrimental to the residential character of the area. We are also very concerned about the scale and depth of the excavation of the basement. It's 3 metres deep, being only 500 millimetres from our boundary, and we would need a clear statement of the method of construction as part of the planning application, and that isn't there at the moment. The impact on our house is hard to ascertain from the plans, as they don't show the relationship of the proposed extension to our house. So we need a site plan showing the side elevation in relation to our house to properly assess the impact of the proposed development. We would be completely overlooked from the windows on the gable extension on the bedroom on the 2nd storey, which looks straight into our back garden, and from the windows on the side elevation. There would also be a significant right to light issue from the 2-storey extension, as the late afternoon, early evening sunlight would probably be lost entirely. The reasons given, we would ask that the application be refused planning permission. We would of course be very happy to invite the councillors and planning officers to our house to review the impact of the proposed development from our side as it is difficult to ascertain from the plans currently submitted. And it is worth noting that we were not consulted by our neighbours on their plans and were only given a cursory overview of the proposals once the planning application had been submitted in late November. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now, I don't really know this already. This has been called in already called in
Yes.
to the committee in
Yeah.
St Albans. We won't have a long discussion on this, sorry, not to be unkind to you itself, because it's coming to the committee in St Albans if it is, if the officer recommends grant. Okay?
Yeah.
So it will be deliberated, one of whom myself. So we will make comments tonight, but we won't go into too detail, because what I would say is, as and when we know the date of the meeting, you can book one of the objectors.
Yeah.
You being the next door neighbour is probably the most important one, because we've got several on the internet at the moment. You would be able to book a similar 3 minutes to address the whole committee at St Albans District Council.
Will someone let me know of the date of that meeting?
Well,
or do I need to
unfortunately,
keep an eye out?
we don't know until our agenda arrives.
I see.
We don't know, but it is. You obviously know the reference number.
Yeah.
You can monitor it
Oh,
yourself,
fine, okay.
and it'll say all of a sudden it'll come up with date of the meeting. At that stage, if you speak to the district council, they will advise you on what you need to do to book, because you need to book it at a certain time prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make sure I keep an eye on the
If I can help you in any way, as I'm the only district councillor here, I'm not your district councillor directly, but I will help you in that respect on the procedure.
Lovely.
Right.
And I've just mentioned to you, Councillor Stevens is the district councillor who called it in. He was in discussion with me because I knew the area sort of well before him. So it's just, as Councillor Hodge, just that is the procedure.
Lovely. Well, that's much appreciated. Thank you.
We're here to help.
No, appreciate
If
that.
we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, but
Lovely.
you're welcome to go back to your...
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And listen to my colleagues having their comments. Who'd like to kick off?
Well, I'd like to make one comment, which is, because it's basement, I just wondered if the party wall agreement is also required of the neighbours, actually.
Indeed. That is a planning reason, sorry, that is a building reason.
I realise that's
yes.
Yeah, but in order for someone to proceed and even do this,
it would indeed
party
need
wall
one.
agreement in place, wouldn't it? Okay, sorry,
So,
So actually, I'll go off from the basement first of all because that's what you said. There's something around the problem with it being 500 millimetres from the boundary wall is that actually that's a construction issue rather than...
It's a building regulation.
It's a building regulation.
Not so it comes into
so it doesn't actually come into planning, which is difficult, and you can understand the frustrations of any neighbours. Looking at it, I would say that the 45-degree angle does fit here, doesn't it? If you look at where it is, I believe Councillor Crawley's got the, so this is another point that you might want to have a think about, is that the angle that we go on is the 45-degree angle, which is between where the corners hit the two properties. So if you draw a 45-degree angle and it's more than that, right, then it's so my thoughts on it are that in principle it actually sort of on paper looks okay, but the thing that I was most concerned about was the patio, the raised patio. I do think that is loss of immunity, and I do feel that is an intrusion, especially because it is raised. That would be my sense of that. But I think we should, in my opinion, we should express concern regarding immunity to the neighbouring properties, perhaps noting the raised patio, and ask the district council to thoroughly check the light arrangements and the angles of the property. That would be what I would suggest.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that's that's very very aptly put. I have concerns that it does affect the amenity of the neighbouring property, and I would like to change the recommendation that we've got set out here, and we actually express grave concern at the very least.
Fine. So, I mean,
I was going to build on what I was concerned, Councillor Cameron said, the raised patio is not the next item on the agenda. That really does worry me, because we've had so many issues with raised patios.
so are we going to say then that we think this should be refused because of the raised patio, or are we just going to say that concerned about the raised patio and severely concerned about the raised patio and the impact on the neighbours immediately? Is that what you'd like to put?
No, I think more severely concerned, because I'm not sure of all the heights involved.
Yeah.
So do you think that we say in its current state we would think that this should be refused because of our concern on the impact on the adjoining?
Yeah,
I mean, for our thoughts.
Yes.
I mean, is that my colleagues? Is that what we?
That's acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, in the current state of the
In the current,
No,
so the application as we see it in front of us, certainly, especially emphasising the raised patio, we think in its current state it should be refused, sort of back to the drawing board job.
I think, sorry, as a point about as well, I think the residents made an excellent point that it really, I know planning officers do this, but they do need to be really mindful that the plans don't actually show it in relation to the next building. So
Yeah,
I think we should also express, we should put that in as well, just to say it's not just the patio, it's also generally the immunity.
Yeah, the windows and
Yeah.
and that. So is that okay with you? Can you is that enough? Sorry, we haven't gone into detailed discussion.
No, that's very helpful.
Because it's coming forward to
Thank you.
Plans North
Thank you.
in, I don't know whether it could be, it certainly won't be the current month, because that's next Monday. But it could be the following month or the month after. That's as far as we, as a committee, we've got we've put this in writing to St Albans, and the officers will read it, make comments, if you like. But, so that's as far as it goes.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the information you were
Thank
able
you.
to provide. That would be quite useful to the committee in St Albans, obviously, many of which don't live in Harpenden. But they would always come and see the application before the meeting anyway.
Good.
So you're welcome to stay, or you're welcome to escape, whatever you'd like to do.
Let's say if you don't mind.
All right.
Yes,
You can
yeah.
pick all those
I'll confirm those minutes in writing to you by the end of the week.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks
very much.
Okay.
Bye.
So which one do you want to do next? Do you want to do High Street next?
This one, yes,
Yeah, right, page 18, please. Yep. Okie dokie, so we're now going on to 92, 94 High Street, which is our reference 5/2016 3605, and this is an application for a change of use from Class A1 retail to Class A3 restaurant, and a new shop front with alterations to openings, and installation of an extract system, although we haven't got full planning details of this. But so we have Mr. Fulton here.
Yes.
Yes. If you'd like to come up and sit in the hot seat,
Thank you.
and you've got 3 minutes to forward your comments and ask some interest.
Okay.
Yeah, always.
Well, I'm a resident of Kirkdale Road, so representing some of the residents, but also a long-standing resident of the town, and it's a concern for the town as well. There is, in my view, an ongoing need to maintain retail premises in the town centre, and our main objection to this application is it's a loss of retail floor space, and there are 2 relevant policies that apply within the adopted St Albans District Plan. Policy 53, which defines 52 to 104 the High Street as a secondary shopping frontage, wherein the loss of existing shops will normally only be permitted if Policy 56 is complied with. And Policy 56 states that the loss of retail floor space within a secondary shopping frontage will normally only be accepted if at least 60% of the built-up length of the frontage remains in retail use at ground floor. And in the location we're talking about, the retail percentage is already below the 60%. Allowing this application would drop it to below 45%. So it's a major move away from what the stated policy is. And our view is that this will detract from the shopping role of the town centre in that location and impact on the viability and vitality of that secondary shopping location. Now, the applicant, recognising that this proposal is in contravention of these policies, and Policy 56 in particular, has misleadingly tried to argue that the Charles Wilson premises and the Quick Fit garage are A1 classification, in other words retail. Well, both of these premises are incontestably not retail. The Charles Wilson office is the head office of their business. No retail activity takes place from those premises. The domestic hire or purchasing of product by local residents is done in the retail hire shop, which is on the opposite side of the road. So the applicant has completely got the wrong end of the stick there. Quick Fit, as anyone living in the town knows, is a garage. It carries out MOT testing, car servicing, and a key part of his business is changing tyres, fitting new tyres. Now, like all garages, they will have an element of people coming in and buying a tyre every now and then, but it's not the core of their business, so they're not retail premises. The current retail outlet, Jack's the Plumbers Merchant, it's been in the town as long as I've lived here, and I've been here for over 32 years. Now, unfortunately, their lease expired recently, and the new owners have obviously wanted to adjust the rental that they pay for, and they're going to have to move their business somewhere else. In the application, the claim is that these people are moving on because of a downturn in business. Now, that's not necessarily the case. The application also states that there'll be 3 people employed in the change of use. If that is the case, you're not providing any additional employment. It's going to be the similar number of people that are already working in that location. But alternatively, I think it's more likely that the number of people employed, should it be a restaurant facility, would be a lot more than 3 people, substantially more. In the application also, to support their case for the change of use, they make reference to some changes in Southdown. Now, Southdown is not a comparable location. Southdown is a defined neighbourhood shopping centre and not a town centre. Well, we can't go into the loss of amenity in a lot of detail because there's not time in 3 minutes, but for local residents there will be a varying degree of loss of amenity, depending on your proximity to the premises. As I say, I can't go into all the detail, but the people who object, the neighbours who object and the local residents who object will put their own particular things. But there is bound to be some impact because the current premises there are retail, close at 5 o'clock in the evening. This will be a restaurant, closing whenever it's allowed to close. The other thing is that, most unusually in this case, St Albans normally post this may affect you notice outside the premises. Now, there hasn't been one outside these premises, so either St Albans have been remiss and failed to put one up, or it's been removed. And because the application was submitted over the Christmas period, when most of us are thinking about Father Christmas, a lot of us came to this rather late, and Unfortunately, as we've been advised that we've missed the opportunity to call this in. Now, I don't know, maybe you could advise us afterwards whether that is still a possibility. One final point, in the application as well, the applicant has listed number 1 Kirkdale Road as a retail or office/retail premises. It is in fact a B1 office, and they have recently extended this without having achieved planning consent from St Albans District Council. And they're also now advertising it, and I phoned the agent this morning to find out what it might be, and he said, well, it could be an office or a nail bar or whatever you want. So retail is what they're suggesting, when in fact it is only authorised currently for B1 office. So for all of these reasons, I would ask you to recommend refusal, because what I think people in Harpenden need is not another restaurant facility. We've got far too many as it is, and we need to support the retail. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Fulton, your comments about the green sign, yes, I was been along there today, and certainly I cannot find one.
No, there is not.
I'm a little bit concerned about this because, as you said, the opportunity to call it in could have been provoked by another, a local resident in that respect, has expired because this went on the 2nd of December. So I think we might try and inquire of St Albans tomorrow on the reason why there was no green sign. It could have been, as you rightfully said, it could have been removed. We do unfortunately suffer this way with people do take them off lampposts.
Yes.
For various reasons. But thanks for those comments. I'll try what I can to find out, if I can find out, where the green sign was put. I'm in St Albans tomorrow, and if I get a chance to, I'll try and find out.
Thank you.
What the situation is.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll check that. Yeah. Okay, and we will double check the calling date in that respect, because I think this is something that should be discussed as far as I'm concerned. But as you said, I've got no power over the fact that I'm district councillor.
Okay.
I'll try.
Thank
okay?
you. Thank you.
Right, now I believe we've got someone who wants to speak. Mr. Stell?
Yes, okay.
Who wants to speak for the application. Right.
Thank you very much.
You can have your likewise, you've got 3 minutes.
Absolutely, thank you very much. My name is Patrick Stell. I'm speaking for the application. I represent the company that owns the freehold of the site, which is Paratrend Limited. The site in question is 92 to 94 High Street, and as you've explained, the change of use from A1 retail to A3, which includes the change of shop front, mechanical extraction, but no structural alterations and no increase to the volume or external envelope of the building. Probably best to just very briefly the history of this. It has been until March and until for the next 2 months. Over the last 25 years, of bathroom fittings and sort of plumbing merchant. The tenant has handed in a notice, and they will be vacating on the 3rd of in March 2017, in about 2 months' time. There's a number of reasons why I'd like to explain to support the application. Firstly, I'd like to address the pertinent points that Mr. Fulton has raised in his objections and just provide our perspective. The first point, Chairman, you explained that there was no details of the mechanical extraction system in the application. I think that was your perspective on your introduction before Mr. Fulton spoke. If I could point to the appendices on the design and access statement prepared by HS Rafferty, there's a full detailed specification for the mechanical extract. and mechanical extracts is also shown on the drawings, on the elevation and the plan drawings that have gone in with the application. Mr Fulton firstly addressed the need to maintain retail floor space and referred to policy 52 and 56, and spoke in emotive terms about the need to maintain A1 retail frontage above 60% after the application, and suggested it was down to I think 40-something% or 45% in his statement. We'd dispute that. We'd refer you to section 6.4 and 6.5 of our design access statement. The Charles Wilson building and the Quick Fit building are two substantial lengths of the retail frontage along this relevant location. Charles Wilson domestic hire can be classed as A1, and probably to a less strong extent, the Quick Fit has got a partial A1 function. You can go in there and you can buy stuff over the counter. The second point that Mr Fulton addressed was that the Jackson lease is expired, and that it drew some sort of attempts to cast some doubt about the reasons for Jackson leaving. We've been informed by Jacksons that they were leaving for their own business reasons, and I doubt whether they're relocating or terminating business, but that's just a fact of the end of their lease. The number of people employed, in our statement we've suggested it's 3. It may well be more, as suggested by Mr Fulton in his statement, but it would be a strange world if we objected to planning applications on the basis of employing people. In terms of the notice put up on the lamppost or whatever they go outside a building, I saw a notice there when I came back from holiday, and I don't know if it's still there now. I presume it's not there.
It wasn't there today.
Yeah, okay. I've seen it up there. And the final point Mr Fulton made was about number 1 Kirkdale Road. It's a separate part of the site, but it's worth drawing your attention. Number 1 Kirkdale Road is obviously facing onto Kirkdale Road. It's currently got B1 planning use. It is being advertised as B1, which is office. There's permitted development rights that would allow that to be operating as retail if we wanted to, without seeking planning consent. Hence our agent's statement that it could be potentially for retail. There were works done without planning consent for the simple reason that works were not required to get planning consent. We had an inspection, a visit from the St Albans Council Inspector, who said that there's absolutely no breach of planning law, and there's absolutely no further requirements for any questions to be answered from them. So the suggestion we've done something illegal there is disputed. Very briefly, very finally, the objections have been covered. The more positive reasons for supporting this application is there is quite simply no demand for this type of retail space in Harpenden. We're desperate to avoid this becoming yet another vacant retail unit. 4 doors down, number 102, the High Street, has been vacant. It was a charity shop, the Marie Curie charity shop, for a long while. Even that couldn't sustain, and it's now just a vacant shop. We're desperately trying to avoid this becoming a boarded up vacant shop. The design we've put forward is an improvement to the UPVC, quite clumsy 1970s facade. We believe it would be a massive improvement. If there's any strong feelings, we're happy to change that. Economically, we're looking to create jobs and improve an area and to provide greater employment, and we can't see that there's much wrong with that. Our view is that this does comply with policy 56, and that based on the street plans that we've submitted and which show which buildings we've allocated as A1 and which aren't, that there will be more than 60% of A1 retail use along this relevant stretch of High Street after any change of use for these particular 2 units. As I've said, we desperately hope to avoid the 12th charity shop in Harpenden within 600 metres of the front door of this building, or even worse, a vacant boarded up site which is similar to what's 4 doors down. It's sustainable development in accordance with the development plan and the NPPF. We think it's a good idea. We think it looks smart and will improve the local vicinity. And if you have any questions, we're very happy to answer them. And if there's anything on the plans that aren't clear, we're very happy to point you in the right direction on those. Thank you for your time.
Just one comment I would do. Speaking to the district council today, the 2 premises you've mentioned are not rated as retail. They're not.
Which one? Sorry.
Not rated as A1 retail.
Charles Wilson,
the garage are not rated.
Okay.
Business rates as A1 retail. We cannot use that in your submission with that knowledge. which means that the calculations that you're using to support the application rather come out with the rules that we have to comply with.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to correct you in that respect. I don't know who gave you that information, but certainly my speaking to the district council today, as a district councillor, that was the information they gave me. So I don't know who gave you that information. You've either been misled or somebody has looked the wrong thing
No,
up.
I appreciate there's a degree of ambiguity on that point, and that was acknowledged at 6.5 of the design access statement, where we're not suggesting that these are classed as A1 and the point we've made is that the Quickfit and the Charles Wilson frontages include these units as A1 uses, and I say that it's acknowledged as these units would not be strictly considered A1 units.
Right.
But the principle remains with
it's
the A1 function.
a difficult one where we have to go by the correct facts as such. I'm only giving you the facts.
If I could, the first 3 lines of 6.5 of the design access statement does categorically say that we're not suggesting, we're not arguing black is white.
No, I mean, but in the long run, as I said earlier, we have no power. We just make our comments forward. It will be ultimately decided by the district council that they will stick to those rules pretty tight.
And that's why we've been very clear.
Conservation areas in that respect. So, whereas comments that we might make, amongst ourselves, the officers of the district council, I'm a little bit perturbed that we have missed the calling date for it to come to committee in St Albans, but if there is this dispute about the green sign, I need to find out why, which I'll try and find out tomorrow, but you'll be let know about that. Sorry, is there
Mr Chairman, I'll address it through you because I know whether it's appropriate to ask. Do we know where the green sign was supposedly put or where it was being seen?
It should be on the lamppost outside. There is a lamppost.
Yeah, there's a lamppost outside. I thought it was still there.
I didn't see it today. The others that I visited, I've seen them all, and I didn't see that one. Thank you.
Okay, I'll have a look on the way out. Okay.
Right,
would you like to go back to your seat, or you can say that if you want to.
Have you got any questions?
No, to our deliberations.
No, I'll jump back to my seat. Thank you very much.
Right, team. It's good.
There you go now.
Well, I just feel that we don't need another restaurant in Harpenden. I think we've got far too many, and I don't think we can afford to lose retail. And certainly, I'm glad you clarified that bit about Charles C. Wilson and Quickfit, because I don't see those as retail. I think most people in the high street in Harpenden would see those as retail. So I would object to it personally.
I would like to agree with Councillor T. I think we just recommend refusal on this application. I feel not only does it take away retail space from Harpenden, it also lessens the possibility it puts up the rates for other shops because there's less supply. And one of the main problems of retail in Harpenden is that there have been rents going up and smaller businesses haven't been able to keep up with those. And actually, if we allow another place to become a restaurant, which we have some great restaurants in Harpenden already, not disputing the restaurant business, it's a great trade, I eat there a lot, but the point is that we need to have a balance, and this shop needs to remain as retail, because not only is it a percentage thing of that local area, it's a wider Harpenden issue, is that we're losing our retail spaces, and it's like this choppy, like scissor edge, knife edge, like salami slicing approach, and we need to do something about it, and I feel really strongly that we should recommend refusal on this application.
I can see Councillor Weaver glaring at me from the other side of the table. I'll try and go with that one. My gut instinct at the end of the day always has been within Harpenden Town Centre is to keep the balance between retail and whatever the flavour of the month is. At the moment, it seems to be A3. We've been through the period of it was banks and financial institutions and various others over the years that I've been involved. I think that unfortunately in a cold hard work we need to look at this as the current rules stand, and I do believe that 53 and 56 actually are applicable, and that given the fact that we've had it confirmed that Quick Fit and CWs don't count currently as retail, I tend to agree with my two colleagues that we should go for refuse on this one. So I do have concerns that it can't be pulled in, but that's a different issue.
Councillor Wheeler, to have a say.
Right. I came to Harpenden in 1968. Things have changed very much so. There were, in that parade along there was Ryan's on the corner, there was a newsagent, a pharmacy, and one other place. They have all gone. Why? The retail world has changed. You cannot go by subjective comments that we've got too many restaurants in the town. It's supply and demand that will decide things. I'm afraid to say, much as I totally, and I had a retail store, and you do what you can to keep retail going, but the worst thing that you could have is a dead area. This is not an area where it is viable for a retail area, and I've seen this over all those years I traded in the town. It's like supply and demand will decide, it's economics here will decide what happens here. Restaurants will be full if there's a demand for them. I did a survey of coffee shops recently. There's not pretend to be a coffee shop, but at 11 o'clock, between sort of 10 o'clock and midday, they were every single one was 80% full. There is demand for a different sort of thing. The retail world is in decline, I'm afraid to say. It's going to change. Other pursuits have to come in. You have to have sports type shops, you have leisure places, libraries, other things will take over in the high street. We've got to have the vitality in there, but what worries me completely is that there could be an empty shop or another charity shop. It's rather like Canute, and you can't turn the tide back with online trading and shopping and this sort of thing. It's gone. I think it's tragic that Jackson's will go, because I use them an awful lot actually. But that is their decision, and who knows what it's likely to be. We talked about, the mention was of Southdown. They are different areas. Southdown is now a community sort of area. This is not going to be a community area, so we can't use that argument. Although they've had 2 extra coffee shops coming down there. But times have changed, and I think that this 60%, whatever the 60%, 45%, whatever figure is, and we'll have to accept it is really dropping down. That area, I'm sad to say, is no longer a viable retail area. I wouldn't take a shop there. That sort of business. It's not that sort of place anymore. The high street is changing, and I'm afraid to say we've got to move with the times, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to put a restaurant there or something, but there will be changes, I'm afraid to say. So my advice to fellow colleagues here, and I'm not on the voting list, is that I think it would be negative to turn this down.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Wheeler. Team. I've listened to all the points as they've been put. I'm also a retailer, but not in Harpenden, in St Albans. I think it'd be sad to lose a frontage, and I don't know what attempt has been made to market it as retail in that space. I personally didn't even know it was up for sale or up for let.
Not for planning consideration, if I mean.
Sorry?
Not for planning consideration.
No, but I don't know what attempt has been made to keep it as retail in that respect. So I'll just say, I know it's not a planning reason, and we're discussing that now. So I think we have to say that we are I think to put those points forward in our comments. I don't want an empty shop in that parade. I understand the Mirikiri one has been because they got a very substantial reduction in the lease while they were there, and that reduction has now been removed, which means they can't afford to stay there any longer, as I understand it. So charity shops come and go, and as I say, I don't want another double-fronted charity shop there. I think I would like to be convinced that the property has been marketed and they haven't found any other takers other than the restaurant who's applying at the moment. So I would like to see if anybody can put that in some kind of writing. Anybody would like to put a judgment forward?
Well, you don't get the impression that someone's tried hard enough to make this work as a retail unit.
Right.
We don't know the real reasons why Jackson's are leaving.
Well, we've been given facts. I haven't spoken to Jackson's themselves. Sorry, Councillor Campbell.
Sorry, are you finished?
I've finished. But
I'd go back to the fact that I take on board all of the sympathies that have been expressed with regards to retail and the remapping of retail. But as a planning committee, or even as an advisory planning committee, we must look at it by the rules as they are written currently. In which case I feel that we should recommend refusal. I mean, it delays. I understand the business concept and how it affects the people that are renting and that, but again, all these things are not material planning considerations, is how the law stands. So again, from my perspective, is we judge it as per the current district plan, and we have to go ahead with those rules. Those are the rules as they are set, and they haven't yet been changed.
No.
So mine is recommend refusal. If we wish to note the points that we've got, I mean, obviously it goes for a long time without a let and it comes back again, and there's good grounds for change to A1, so be it, but...
I think we need to convince
the
officers in St Albans of that for the need for the change. And I think they in the long run will make the decision on whether they feel that this dramatic percentage decrease in the space there is acceptable. So we're going to recommend refusal pending other evidence.
Or pending a change of the rules, and I don't know what's coming with the new
to comply with the two conditions.
But 53/56 do apply in this case. I would submit, subject to those who are more experienced.
Sorry, Councillor.
This actually didn't apply with respect to, didn't apply in respect to Southdown, where two coffee shops came in which did exceed or meant that the requirement of shop frontages were not sufficient. The 10% rule came in. It has been exceeded time and time again, and it has been throughout the whole of the high street in Harpenden, so the rule doesn't apply.
Well, I think we can look at it in the fact that the officers may amend the rules on this particular application because of the special circumstances. That is not something that we can recommend, really. So I'm happy with the recommendations we put forward at the moment, with further evidence to be given. I mean, we're not planning officers, so therefore I would like to see what comments they make. I mean, sadly, I do think I think what Councillor Campbell has said, we really have to comply with the rules as we see them in front of us. If the rules get amended by circumstances, I think that is rather different to what we can do. It's not up to us to rewrite the rules. Sorry. That's how I view it. So if they think that this is an exceptional circumstances because of the nature of the business that's being run at the moment, as in plumbing.
Not publicly proven.
No, exactly. So it is rated as A1, as retail. So therefore, it's we have to say that that's the rules as we see in front of us. sorry, Mike, but I can only put that as I see it. If they come and give a different decision, they're the ultimate deciders anyway.
Well, it would be interesting to note there, Mr Chairman, so I'm butting in again, should this one go for Grant, it would be interesting that he's reported back to this committee so that we then have got our benchmark.
I will see the results, so that's why it will be, but that's as far as we can take it. Unfortunately, we don't rewrite the law or rewrite our particular law in St Albans.
That's very
clear.
clear.
Part of
I
St Albans
understand
district.
that. I totally understand. It's a win, so thank you.
So
Yeah, okay.
that one's done there. So so for the people who came from Kirkdale, that's as much as we can take it. If the officers in St Albans think that it's acceptable,
Yes.
they are the ultimate deciders.
And then as far as the calling in is concerned, you're
I need to inquire tomorrow.
Yes.
If it was put on the lamppost and you've got the evidence, because you take a quick photograph, it being removed, they don't come around and check them all the time.
No.
If it was removed, unfortunately, I can't do anything about it. It's this grey area on the calling, because I'm not your local council as such, because I'm Harpenden South.
Yes.
I don't look at, although I look at all the applications, I list the applications every week. I don't go out and check everyone's got green notice.
No, I understand.
It's impossible to do.
Your local councillor might, but I just need a bit of guidance, which I probably would get tomorrow when I'm there. But it's just it's a grey area. This one is.
Would you advise us then, or somebody advise us?
Well, if it's going to be called in, I will indeed advise you. We've got your details here.
Yeah.
So
But what we should do, you said, is to write to the head of planning. Did you say in St Albans to get it?
Well, you could write to Tracy Harvey.
Yes.
She's the head of planning in St Albans. But I think if they produce the evidence that the sign was put up on, well, it was 2nd December, wasn't it?
Well, it actually went on the internet. That's when they registered it.
Yes, I've seen it on the internet. I've definitely seen it on the
Oh, it was
internet.
received on the 2nd. It was registered on the 3rd.
But we haven't seen it on the land.
The 13th, so we've got 2 weeks from the 13th, from the date of registration, to call it in, which would be the 27th of December.
Yes.
And if you're to call it in, the councillor concerned probably would be Councillor Matthew Stevens.
Matthew Stevens.
He's the West Ward councillor. You call in it has to be a West Ward councillor that normally would call it in. And there are two others. There's Councillor Daniel Richardson, Councillor Julian Daly, but the one easiest to approach probably would be Councillor Matt Stevens.
Because I think we've spoken to Mr Daly, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah. And he advised us that we'd missed the date. But we should speak to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, the date is the date that it's logged on the internet, and not really the green sign is to support the application.
Yeah. We're sort of laymen, if you like.
Unfortunately, it's not concrete.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I mean, the only thing I would say about the call-in procedure, having sat on the planning committee for 6 years now in St Albans, call-in does not guarantee to change any decision as an officer's made.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people persuade councillors to call things in, and I've seen where because they wanted to object to it, and I found the officer recommended refusal,
Yes.
and the committee overturn it and recommend that it's acceptable. So calling is a grey area.
I understand.
It works on both ways for
Yes.
both reasons.
So if I may have a little say, and I appreciate the decision's been reached, but Erlen Sternley, who's the third along in the white shirt, I've got an email from him from the 22nd of December where I had advised him that there was already a planning application submitted. Mr Sternley is the next door neighbour, and Mr Sternley is the self-appointed chair of the local committee, being the next door neighbour most interested. So he was very much aware of it, and there's a healthy line of communication between me and Mr Sternley, advising that the planning application had gone in, and he's been very much aware of this, and has told me that he has been sort of coordinating the neighbourhood. So whether or not this sign went up, the neighbours have definitely been aware of an application, and I'm very pleased that they've responded. I just wanted to put that in just so that you know that they weren't sort of suddenly ambushed, and that they didn't just sort of hear about it.
No, sorry, I misled you in that respect.
I'll just make it brief, just a quick point, just in my defence.
The calling system unfortunately, works very well, except when there's bank holidays and Christmas and everything else involved, which preoccupies...
I appreciate that was a bit tough, and we tried to get this in earlier, and it took a while.
No, it's not, that's not your fault, that's the system, unfortunately, in the planning department in St Albans, where there's 40 applications just for Harpenden that we've got to discuss, we've got tonight, 40 during that period. You can imagine how many there are in the whole district.
Yes.
Many,
and so therefore, it's not a reason or an excuse. It's more in that respect. I mean, the calling system isn't the end of the world. In the long run, it's the officer, because the officer guides us as a committee anyway, and we find it very difficult to overturn an officer's decision these days, because we have to give planning reasons to overturn their recommendations or their decision. And it's getting harder and harder to find a planning reason to support our thoughts. But
thank you.
I can only guide you all I can do.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so, is that okay? Right. Thank you all
Thank you
for
very
coming.
much.
I try and be as informative as I can be.
If you want contact us, we contact Stephen, we'll give them to you.
Thank you. Thanks very
Right,
much.
so we've got the link.
You had this conversation in front of your teammates, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can we go to page 10 now? We've got one lady sitting there patiently.
I'm fine, it's quite interesting
I'm trying to find it entertaining.
I'm just taking my own education of it, if you don't mind.
No,
Please, no.
I won't say anything, I'd just like to listen to the law and how it's interpreted.
fine, I don't know. Right, page 10 at the bottom.
So we're going page 10, team, we're doing 31 Ramwood Lane, 5, 2016, 3588, two-storey sides and room extension with alterations to the openings at 31 Ramwood Lane. So,
Yeah, it was basically just to double check that you were okay with this one that I've delegated. We've had no objections from any of the neighbours, nothing on the internet at all. As I went through it, I just made some notes. So my notes were that there was already a view of an expensive wall, so to extend the boundary may not affect the street scene too much. The house opposite has been pulled away from the roadway, 2 parking spaces provided, so there's no change, and it's going from 2 to 3 beds, so I didn't have any objections provided by the community. As I say, nobody has objected at all, so I don't have a problem with it. Yes, I'm happy.
anybody else? Similar thoughts?
Yeah.
I looked at this one and was quite happy with the way it is.
So it's just getting the committee to vote.
Yeah. So we recommend it's okay, subject to no loss of immunity to the neighbouring properties. Okay?
Well, just quickly I was going to say, we did submit a design and access statement with it that made reference to a very similar design that was actually built 10 years ago at the opposite end of the terrace. So we tried very hard to replicate that and to try and actually enhance it and to make it look a bit more applicable to the original building, because the one that got planning 10 years ago is not as compatible with the street scene, so we put quite a lot of effort in to keep it in character with the building.
Good. Nice to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, as I said, it's, we only make our
Oh
comments.
no, I understand. I have
system.
dealt with plumbers, I've dealt with Miriam, and I've dealt with planning officers as well in the past.
Okay,
So
fine.
I understand that it's up to
I try and help everybody because there are so many lay people in this.
Yes, no, that's fine. I just wanted to come and hear in case anyone had any thoughts about it. So. I'm very sorry you've not learned much in the corner. That was quite boring.
Always interesting.
Good for me. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Thank you.
Enjoy the
Thank you.
next session.
Oh, we're at 8:30.
Right. So we go back to the beginning of the agenda, page 9.
Got those, there we are.
So, top of the tree, 5/2016, 3264, 10 Salisbury Road, and this is a raised rear patio, it's because it is retrospective.
Yeah. Okay, so, I wanted you to have a look at this one, because I'm not too sure about it.
Just Google that doesn't show the patio, so you couldn't actually see what it's actually like, was it? Obviously, it was taken.
Have you got the bird's eye?
Well, yes, sort of,
That
but
would be
the
useful.
trouble is it doesn't sort of zoom in very much, unfortunately. So I've starred the house. It's there. So the verbal advice that is on the application says from the St Albans planner, it might not be a problem if the neighbouring property is protected. The ground slopes away from the house. The patio in itself is 3.5 metres deep, and there's a wall at the end of the patio which is about 0.5 metres high. The trellis has been installed on the existing fences, but the plans don't say how tall the fences are. So they could either be 5 or 6 foot fences.
Well, we're saying this is retrospective anyway, so it's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, the
they've
comments
obviously-
from the neighbour on the internet,
Didn't find those.
not at all happy. I didn't realise that they'd had a verbal wording from the officer, because certainly if you read the letter from the neighbour, it has removed a lot of their privacy, because the ground slopes, so the patio is actually on paper double the height, because the next door house is actually below. So it's,
Yeah, I printed off the neighbour's comments, and she
Yeah.
says the fence is about 5.5 feet high. And I do have a great deal of sympathy with this lady, because I visited the road and I could see through the sort of side alleys the ground slopes away.
That's right.
yeah,
Quite
you didn't go on. You know, you didn't go onto the property. Yeah, no.
But you can just
Yes, it
see,
does.
see from
So
the road.
therefore, I think any comments about that?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Cooney, and I think that we should be, if we're not expressing concern, if we're not recommending refusal, we should be expressing severe concern, because I really feel that this is a loss of immunity to neighbouring property, and also we don't like it's also a concern that it's retrospective, and there was obviously no consultation done beforehand.
I think
Yeah, sorry, just to elongate things as you kind of want. Were we leaving out the word retrospective, I would be expressing grave concerns, if not recommending refusal. But without access onto the site, difficult, and without the plans that we've got are insufficient to.
Yeah.
They don't tell me anything.
I think the thing is with patios and sort of decking and things, people don't always realise that they need planning permission if it goes above a certain height, and I think that's possibly the problem.
It is the slope on the land there is definitely a difficulty.
it's exaggerating
It is.
the increase in the height because of the raised patio. So I was saying that I think most of you know my comments on retrospective applications. No, so I think we can say we raise severe concern regarding the impact on the neighbours and the loss of their immunity. So you can't say refuse, it's already been built. So.
Well, I don't know whether whether they can be asked to relay their patio so that...
Oh, yes.
I think it can be imported.
It's just that
we've got one in Ox Lane at the moment. It's going through legal at the moment. Yeah.
It's just that unless the neighbour has a very high fence installed or something, I don't see how you can overcome this loss of immunity problem without relaying the patio.
No. So.
Yeah, so I know it's been done, but it's like It needs to be undone, therefore significantly modified. So that
Or we could say,
problem.
we the patio should be significant, using your quote, significant, we all happy with that, significantly modified?
Okay, yes, please, if we could.
Well, which
You know.
effectively means, again, say take out the word retrospective,
Yeah,
that if
This-
it were
this
an ordinary
should be
planning
refused.
application, we would recommend refusal.
yes.
Right,
Come on.
yes, so you're recommending to?
No, we're saying that the patio should be, modified, so that's the right word, sorry, modified in such a way to,
To remove the loss of immunity.
to the neighbouring property.
In fact, she also refers to another neighbour, but it's unfortunate the other neighbour hasn't written in.
No, that's it.
Yeah. Shall I?
What do we end up with?
Yes, I'll put it as concern, regarding the impact on the neighbours and think the space of the patio should be modified to the
Yep, I'm happy with that. Yep. Right, we okay? 2016 3515.
Well, we're carrying on.
We are still page 9. because
Oh, page 9, yeah,
yes.
fine.
This is change of use of lands to incorporate. Again, we don't do legal here, so unfortunately I don't know about the changing the residential curtilage of the road. So I think again no neighbours objected to this one. I think what our officer said, I think I'm happy to go along with that. We've got no objections, subject to the.
It's a tiny little square bit that's taken out of their garden, actually, which had some sort of, what was it? I think it was a telecom or some sort of electric, yeah. So it's a tiny little area there, which is unused now, so they were just going to gain ownership, and I think they've been in contact with the owners of that. So
that's fine. They're happy with that. We can't check ownership of that.
no.
Next one, certificate of lawfulness. We don't even bother doing. 5016-3627. Next one, 2016-3636. No comments have been made. No.
And they've just reduced and taken away the first floor extension from the previously approved application and put the roof line.
No problem with that. And next one, 2016-3058, which is 53 Springfield Crescent. Likewise, as long as there's no, the neighbour hasn't objected, I'm happy with the recommendation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next one, certificate of lawfulness one, so it's 2016-3576. Put its lawfulness first, we don't need to worry about that one. We don't do civil lawfulness. 31 Roundwood Lane we've done. Next one down. Top page 11. Render to front elevation. 2016-3637. This is One Woodlands. Again, providing the materials they use is in character of the street scene, I'm sure that the officers will tell them what they can and can't do. Don't think there's a problem with that one. Right, next one. Harpenden Close. Harpenden Park, 2-storey side, first floor rear extension incorporating new garage, following demolition, existing, alterations to the openings and roof lights. Right, this is an interesting one in respect that dimensions that they have supplied for the proposed garage does not comply with the regulations. It's 3.28 metres wide, and minimum is 2.28 metres, and the minimum is 2.4 metres, and even at 2.4 metres, you could only get a small car in. But indeed, these days, the recommendation is, although we haven't changed our rules yet, should be a minimum of 2.8 to 2.9 metres for a family car to really get it in and close the door. So, in fact, I would recommend from the chair on this one that I have concern on the loss of parking, because it's going to mean there's only one parking space that you can actually use to put a car in. But the application that we see before us, as well as being currently affecting the neighbours, so in that respect, doesn't comply with our rules regarding the width of the garage. I mean, the current garage, I believe, is not used as a garage. Hi. Georgie.
So, I'm a bit confused about which one of these is. So, for all the things, I actually used to live in Brackendale Close, which is the one along from Harpenden, and I used to live in a house like this, and so we had, and you could see how you could extend it and how the work you could be doing to it with. Although it really does depend on the property that you're doing it to, as to how close it is to the neighbouring property, because the houses are actually, by the time you've got the garage there, they're quite close together. The thing I would say about parking is that a lot of these drives are quite long, so we used to fit 3 cars on just the drive up to our house. So I think that's worth mentioning.
The drive at the moment,
because it's this one, isn't it? Because this is the way
they're
they...
bringing the garage
Yeah,
forward.
but they'll still have probably maybe room for 2 cars on this stretch of
They're going to have
wouldn't it be 5? There's 4 already in the house.
It's going to have 5 bedrooms, it means it has to have 3 parking spaces.
Yeah.
Ideally, I've got the same amount of bedrooms.
Okay. Also, I can see how you also extend it with this.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, this is the proposed.
Isn't it got 4 bedrooms in it?
It is that one. If you wanted confirmation,
Is that one?
it is that one. Yeah. With it set right back. The garage is set right back.
It should be that one. It's not, that one's the back garden of that
I
one.
beg your pardon.
Because that's the back
I'm
garden.
sorry, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, it is that one. Got myself upside down. It is that one. With the car in front of the garage.
Yeah, and so the issue then also is that this, when you build it, because of the way these the Harpenden ones are a bit funny, in that they do front them back and front them back, and I'm in such a negative Nelly today. I really don't. I really don't. I'm just a bit concerned about the proximity to neighbouring properties and loss of amenity. I'm not saying, I'm not saying object. I just feel that these houses are very close together. There's obviously parking concerns because you could actually do some a lot of these places. Other people have taken away parts of their garden to more car parking spaces. So I feel like if we refuted this, they could come back and say, okay, well, we'll allow it garden. I think the main problem, in my opinion, which I feel really is that it will negative effect on neighbouring properties and overlooking gardens.
There are 2 letters of objection, and one of them refers to privacy because of the way it extends backwards and looks into...
I hadn't picked up on that.
And the other one is the people at number 6 are very worried about the loss of light. And if you look at the plan, this house extends to within a metre. a metre of...
It has to be a metre at the first floor, so they're bang on.
So,
Because the other thing about this is that a lot of the houses on the end of these streets have had this work done, but they've had it done where there's been space for it to be done because there was a larger garden around the side, or that there was space from the plot at the end of the terrace, basically the terraces that are just detached houses, but they're all the same and they're all quite close together.
Yeah. See, on the diagram, they themselves have put the width of the garage as 2.3.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree with you. I'm just
so
saying.
therefore, the loss of the parking space.
I do agree with you, yes.
It doesn't comply with. We can't count.
When you say the current one is what? Does the current one comply?
The current one complies, but they don't use the garage. We can't get the cars to put in it.
Right, you change review.
I think the garage, I might be wrong here, but the garage looks as if it's attached to number 6. You know, it's just, the garage is separate, but not number 6. So,
some of them are set back.
yeah, so if they do the extension, it's effectively, is it making number 6 a link detached? Do you see what I mean?
Because the other thing is the houses, sorry.
Yeah, carry on, sorry.
The houses on these houses have side windows that overlook into each person's property. You have a side window as you, for example, go up the stairs that lets the light into the property.
Yes.
So that's another consideration for loss of amenity on the...
Well, that's what this objection letter is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have to recommend refusal.
Yeah. So if you...
If we do it for the parking, the width of the garage, and the lack of loss of amenity space to the neighbouring property.
That's right. That's right.
So we
Yes,
recommend
number 6
refusal.
and number 10.
Yeah.
Loss of amenity.
So it's recommended refusal, yeah?
Just to show that I'm amenable, I've got that one down as okay, subject to parking, but change it.
Sorry, the garage width was the first thing that drew attention to me.
Some of those things where you're like, I used to live in a house like this, I know exactly what it's supposed to be. Sorry for elongating that for another 10 minutes. Frank walked by and he paid 11.
Right. Right, the next two are both for 6 and 6A Grove Road. That's 2016 3460. I'll do the first one, begin with the internal alterations and alterations to the openings, forming new access to the first floor. No problem with that. It would tidy up what at the moment it's like a shed at the back. The next one, which is the same property, 2016 3461. When I looked at the internet yesterday, it says it was an invalid application.
Oh, interesting.
So do you think you could just look up and just see if it still says that? In which case we won't discuss it any further.
Oh.
Sorry.
I pulled off the plans for proposed and existing.
Thanks for your time, councillors.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
We bought out bed rolls tonight.
I struggled to couldn't find any difference
In what they're planning to do?
in the external view. There's only
That
that's
just says the same thing.
proposed and existing.
Oh,
Current application status is invalid.
well, that is...
Yeah, it's just invalid, does it?
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
So we don't need to discuss it any further. It's on the internet. It says it was invalid.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah, that solves the mystery.
Do we know why it was invalid? It's not like the tree
They
back on.
supplied the wrong diagram in red or something. What shows
Oh, that's
shows
probably
the
goes to the fact we've got a repeat of existing.
What's the difference?
Oh, right.
Right.
Right, I understand that one now.
I mean, the comment on that one is it's very similar to what's already happened before, but they've got to get their application right before we can look at it.
Right, team, try and move forward a bit quickly now. 5/2016 3530, certificate of lawfulness, we don't need to make any comments. Right, next one, 5/2016 3581, demolition of existing erection of 1-2-storey basement, incorporating lower level garden, 12 the uplands. In 2015, they had permission to demolish it and do something with it. I think they've just changed it slightly, haven't they?
Yes. I don't think I so much of a problem. We haven't made loads of notes on this one. I've just put the building line has moved forward, now in line with one of the neighbouring properties.
But no one's objected.
Pardon?
I said there's no letters of objection,
Oh,
is
right,
there?
okay. No,
Not
I
I can
haven't
see.
seen anything.
No.
This is the 45-degree rule on the other. It's a larger footprint, but the 45-degree rule at the rear is okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't
So this is it, like,
I mean, maybe some just, well, I suppose the neighbour is caught, that's
Mm.
So subject to no loss of amenity to the neighbouring property.
Absolutely. Go with that.
You'd be happy with that?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
definitely.
yeah.
What are they?
I don't have anything against it, because it's already got permission to do it.
I just wanted to add, I've been there, very large plots, and,
Yeah.
what have you...
I mean, this is what everyone's doing in the uplands.
My comment on it was, it reminded me of Spanish holiday, because the weather was quite good when I looked at lunchtime. So many builders about this. They're all doing it.
They are doing it.
I quite like the existing
No, we'll
property.
be subject to no loss.
I really feel like I
I mean,
haven't
they
come to
haven't
say
objected.
nothing.
It's just that one on the other side. Right. Next one we discussed already.
Yep.
Welcome to Avenue, so we're going to go any further.
Hang on, sorry, I've lost the plot for a moment.
5/2016 3499. Variation of condition 2 approved plans for Arden Court for Jarvis. I don't see any problem with this at all. It's a nice design.
There were just changes to windows and reduction of dormers.
Yes.
That's all it was.
No,
really.
I don't think there's a problem with that. No, I think what you said is perfect.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. 5/2016 3504 advertising consent. Likewise, if 7 hours parade, if as long as they comply with the rules or whatever size they're going to have us advertising, whether it's lit or not lit. I know it's not
It's non-illuminated.
non-illuminated. So I think that people have to advertise what they are,
Yeah.
subject to it being the right size and
They
the
were
right.
just changing the background
Okay.
on the side.
It's just CY hair salon. So I don't think it's a problem. We have to comply with the rules. Right, 5/2016 3564 single story side rear extension, 20 Cowper Road. Councillor Campbell,
Well, I have a problem with this one.
right?
Loss of parking.
Yep. Well,
They're gonna give
they
us Cowper Road.
appealed against the last plan
And it was
and it was thrown
dismissed,
out.
so I'm recommending refusal on that one.
And then the application was withdrawn, and then in 2015 they did a single story side and rear extension, garage conversion.
Given the problems in that road, it's a no-way Jose that we lose a parking
Through
space.
planting, through there.
I mean, that road's horrendous park, I've been down it today, and it's the best of times, it's just,
Why didn't I pick that one up?
There was nothing that would say you wouldn't enter this circle, shooting, unless you know Cowper Road. It's not one that you would pick up.
No,
Otherwise,
but if you do
yeah.
a sweep then, okay. Oh, right, okay.
so we can say, concerned about the loss of the garage. because of the
parking.
because of
Object to the loss of parking. Easy. No, simplicity put it. Sorry. Don't think so. As I know there is further, it's been appealed before.
yeah,
Regarding loss of damage.
loss of garage. You know, and no, I mean the fact that I'm not using it as a garage is rather irrelevant. But you know,
It's not the loss of the garage, it's the principle, it's the loss of parking.
and the lack of parking in
Is that conservation area?
Yes, and it's a locally listed building.
Right. Well, no, sorry, it said it there. Should be on.
yeah, but you can put that up in the garage anyway, okay. Right, I'm going to time food on a bit quickly now, because we've got a load that really got no problems with. So we've got 15 pages to go. 2016 3574, super lawfulness we don't get involved in. 2016 361 3616, 22 Cowper Road. This is just a rear infill extension. It's not putting a garage down or anything.
As laid out.
I'm happy with what you said.
Okay.
Okay. Right. 2015 3619. Demolition of existing and erection of 2 4-bedroom semi-detached dwellings with basements. This one, as you can see in its history, has been going on since 2013, where they wanted to demolish it and erect 2. It's, well, I'll let you comment. That I might say all the time.
There seem to be a lot of letters of objection, but no overdevelopment and this sort of thing. But if there was street scene, I have to say, I don't really think it looks bad, actually. And I personally think that, well, it's going to be mega expensive properties, even with their semis, but they're more in line with what Harpenden needs, I think, actually. You know, I was more in favour of it, unless I can hear someone else saying against it.
I agree with Councillor Keeley. I didn't want to say yes, but I agree.
Sorry.
Yes, I've been involved with this one for a long time. I called engineer over the years. It's changed dramatically. The neighbours it's also connected with the fact that the owner of this particular property did own the one in Maple Road, which backs onto it, which goes to a very big slope. And what has happened is the garden has been shortened considerably. Now, obviously, gardens aren't it, but I have to agree with what you say. If you look at the street scene, it doesn't. The way that it fits in with they've reduced the level of the height, and it fits in with the rest of the thing. Now, I've been contacted quite a lot, and so has Matt Stevens on this one. So he's asked me for advice, but I have to say I concur with rather what you say, both of you two say on this. It does seem to fit now, but what other reason is and the amenity angle? Very difficult to say. There is a loss of amenity to the side, and that would be to number 13 in particular. I'm not sure, but as I said, it's been a thorn in my back for a long time.
Since we're on that thing tonight.
It's always the same three things, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like lost
We get themes, don't we?
Yeah, but it's just that in these big houses, they do have big cars. Not being disrespectful to yours, Catherine, but no, it's a bugbear of mine that in my road they built 4 houses, none of which they put a car in. And nobody's got a smart car, so.
Not really relevant. Likewise, I've got 2 built beside me that you cannot use as a garage,
No.
and I doubt that I would be able to get my smart in it and get out of it,
No.
unless I try and do it.
And it's just,
So it's just pandering to permitted development rights. It's a room without a name.
yeah, it will change when the local plan gets amended. We've
And it's
increased it to 2.9
Yeah.
metres, but unfortunately it's a few years away. So, in which case it would have presumably three parking spaces, wouldn't it, to the front and 1 garage, could it?
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, 3.
Well, it's just that I do feel they tried very, very hard. Councillor Newman was implied. The slope of the roof is very tastefully done, I think. It's very nicely hit. It blends in to my eye. I know the gardens are small, but they're not small compared to other parts of Harpenden. If you've got a very big garden, probably it's considerably small, but they're not that small compared to
Come to Harpenden North, you can find plenty small gardens.
You can see the reduction on, that was previous, and this is the proposed, and you can see the reduction and the changes.
So they have reduced it from what was refused before. Was it refused before?
Yeah, because it's gone as far as the field is.
It was withdrawn, I think, one of the ones.
Oh, was it,
Field dismissed, the field dismissed.
The whole thing was going to be refused, so they withdrew it.
History,
Oh, did they?
2015,
Oh, okay.
someone's very rare. In 2014, we recommended refusal and the appeal was dismissed for the inspector. He wasn't very happy with the design. So,
If I may, Mr. Chair, I mean, given what we've seen there and looking at the pictures of existing and proposed, I mean, the material, there's no way we can quote the street scene. It would appear that it addresses the parking criteria.
seems to comply.
Um,
It's only got 4 bedrooms.
I,
It's got a cellar,
I,
which does concern me. It's going to have a gym and what have you, but the only thing that concerns me with cellars is they could be used as bedrooms, but we can't
could
do
later,
that.
yes. That's the problem with any room. You
Yeah.
can later convert it into anything. It's a habitable room, it can
So,
go anyway. So
And of course, you can't put a condition on, you don't use it for sleeping.
Well, sorry, a question, that raises a question, Mr. Chairman, if I may, without extending this too long. Does withdrawal of permitted development rights still exist? It's a term
grey
that's been
area.
used in the day.
It is a grey area.
Right, okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's one of those ones where I'd like to see it withdrawn, as with some of these ones.
I think
with
the officers have always guided us by saying, well, they've got to put a planning application in, and we would look at it on its merit. So therefore, it's not withdrawal of, because quite often, I would say on this one with the roofs, they could put another floor in, because
Well, they
it's a
could try
tall
for
roof,
it straight away.
could add another 2 bedrooms to that upstairs, which,
So
you know,
withdraw that
but
one, you
we're not,
don't need to go any further.
but therefore it's got to put a planning application in, and therefore then you better use the parking rules. So what are we saying? Subject to, or?
I can't find a subject to at the moment.
Oh, we don't, no.
Does anybody else can?
Well, I've got a no objection. That's positive, happy birthday. Over here.
All right, no objection.
I think no.
Now with the current design. I mean, something's going to happen there.
Well, it will, without doubt, but that's when we put our spoke in at that stage.
Right. Difficult one. Right, 2016 3644, replacement detached garage. I don't see any problems with what our officer said. No problem.
No problem, I think they consulted with the planning officers and it's all going to be screened, that area, so...
No problem at all.
Yep.
Great. Next one, 2016 3664, single story rear extension. Again, no objection. No one, neighbours haven't mentioned it. So, subject to, you know, as long as no one raised anything. Subject to no loss of immunity, so I'd like to put that on there though, because the next door's house is quite close. But they haven't raised an objection. Are you all happy with that? Next one, 2016 3675, 8 Ramwood Park. No problem with that. Yeah. Next, 2016 3502, civil lawfulness. No problem with that. Next one, discharge of condition, 2016 3549. No problem with that. Next one, 2016 3713, single story rear extension. No problem with that. I think it might be very close to permitted development rights of a single story anyway. I think it's only got roof lights in, it's probably got no problem. 2016 3415, single story grain store. Not very often get one of these. A single story farm implement store. Rothamsted. I have no problem with this. They seem to know what they're doing up there. And the,
Sorry, can I say,
please.
I drove all round here.
We should give them
I thought you might be right. You couldn't find it.
I didn't try.
I thought one more building wouldn't make any difference.
No, I think Rothamsted do know what they're doing, and they do try and protect everything they can do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Yep.
2016 3526, 72 Luton Road. I like what we've said. No, subject to the materials not complying with. No problem. 2016 3593, one dwelling with basement and habitable loft accommodation. 9 Park Avenue South.
Yeah, this one I was a little bit concerned.
This one I was a little bit,
Seems to double the footprint, so I don't know whether you agree or not. It's a big piece of land, but they're taking out quite a few trees.
yeah, it was the trees that, because it's quite treeified.
Yeah.
And it looks quite nice at the moment, but to build...
I mean, it's, like I say, it's a big plot of land, but when they put in the big house instead of the other, which is bigger than the existing, then you suddenly lose the land. So, have a look at what you think.
Pick that one if you like. I looked at it and looked at it quite closely. I see that sort of the massing is somewhat more than you'd probably expect on starters. But then if you look at what else is happening around it, similar plots and the rest of it, and back to the Spanish comment that I made earlier, it doesn't seem to be out of keeping. As far as the trees are concerned, they're really sort of the first line.
Yeah, they are. The Lalande cypress. There's a magnolia, silver, eucalyptus.
I could find no reasons to try and preserve, and in fact, if again going down the street, that one's sort of a little bit dated by its trees almost.
Half a wood.
But it's almost out of keeping with the modern streets.
No one's objected.
If I may, I think that's objective.
Certainly not until yesterday.
My only thing is that they're getting rid of pretty grapes and getting not very nice grapes.
Yeah.
Although that is a matter of opinion.
Well, I think absolutely.
Well, can we keep the pretty grapes? I'm joking. Sorry, Mr.
We're not affected by green belt percentage of increase, are we? So,
But, it looks like more.
We can say we were sad to lose the number of trees, but can you know, like the design, and is that what you want to say? Sorry.
I wrote programmes here, they're all huge plots.
Yes, no, they are.
So I couldn't imagine anyone objecting to this. In fact, I couldn't really even see the house from the outside.
Well, it took a little bit of finding. Yeah, so I had to park the car and walk. Check the numbers.
I didn't really consider the loss of trees when I looked at this actually, but that's no problem.
I'm still amazed at these kinds of that they actually need underground basement.
Yeah.
There's so much land there anyway.
Yes.
It's the fact and the fancy, isn't it?
Hey, you need someone to put your pool, okay?
Or your car park,
Yeah.
according to what
Your
it's
boat.
Or your gym. God, there's not enough space
I'm
in
getting a
this
bit
world.
facetious over here again. Admonish myself.
What are you going to do with your car, Chris?
Well,
Definitely
I'm
basement.
thinking about trees and use of screening.
It's going to have some trees. It's just some of them are quite nice mature ones, but they're not protected. So unfortunately, we've got to live in the modern world.
Yes. The character of the Turf Park Avenue has changed quite a bit over the years with these larger houses and the loss of trees. But there are still plenty of trees there. So I think, as you said, Chair,
I think it's
move with the times.
The President's already set them to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you move 2 or 3 properties down the road or across the road, and they were there, they've gone. I mean, it would be churlish to
Park Avenue
Yeah.
Law
to impose on them something that we haven't imposed on others.
So is that no objection?
So we're happy.
Yeah.
See no reason to.
No, there's no plan.
Right, so I'm moving forward a bit quickly.
Oh, we've done it.
We'll do the next one, High Street.
Yep.
Which I think will still be an interesting one. I'd be very interested in the officer's report on that one. The next one, charter conditions we're not getting involved in, 2016-3652. 14 Townsend Lane. Now this is an interesting one. 2016-3657, because Five 2016-2994, which is recommended refusal by St Albans, does it say? St Albans refused, if you look halfway down, went to appeal, and today was approved. The inspector approved it. So I think, so he's obviously put this new application in pending the first one being overturned. But no, I think if you look up, do you think you can look up 2016-2994? You see, it's got an internet here.
So if this is left, then surely we have to say no objection due to the
The refused application now being approved.
No objections.
That's right.
Yeah, I just feel that if any neighbours look at it and they go, why have they said no objection, we still want to say the reason for it is that we just rubber stamped it. What? I need to get some air. I feel really like...
Decision notice.
What are we doing? Okay, I'll call last night. Excuse my friend.
We'll see.
So that's Sally, are you looking for the actual appeal?
Yeah, that's where the appeal should be.
If it only came through today, why did they put it on?
Oh, plus they haven't put it on yet. It only came through at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's too late.
Oh, that was a bit tight on them going over it.
Yeah, that isn't going to happen, is it?
How did you find it?
So I get notified.
Oh, so they've gone as far as
I get
notified?
an email from the inspectors.
Ah, so it's direct from the inspector. Okay.
Well, no, the inspector to St Albans, and it comes out as a copy of the report. But it hasn't gone there yet. Okay. It just came to exactly.
Okay.
I don't know what I didn't look what it was, other than the fact that it was granted.
Really?
Just quite a just building on Councillor Callum's comment. We can say no objection to this on the grounds that they've reduced. We don't. I mean, you're saying
because obviously
it's been allowed.
it's the original one, which is now reduced now, presumably to fit in with what they thought they might
That's right.
have to
Yes.
do.
Exactly. Yes.
So I think we've got to put no objection.
That's right. Yes.
Makes
Yeah,
us look
don't come here.
follies otherwise. If,
Yeah, yes, that's right,
if we
yes.
object to it, and then
Yes.
find it.
No, we could have said
The
no
opposite.
objection.
Right, so no objection.
Oh, you're right, boy.
Oh, we've got it here, appeal lodged
Yeah.
on the side. So that appeal today was came through.
So that's a different application.
Yeah, sorry, it's
Yeah, it's for more than they've asked for on this one.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We expressed concern and what have you last time, but yeah.
They might decide they might not. They who knows?
So
Whereas they
different one.
got the one before, the logic would say they follow that.
Yeah.
They popped the second application.
I mean,
too quick.
the officers in St Albans will compare what the appeals that's now been granted against the current application, and will obviously say similarly.
Yeah.
That they can look at both sets of plans side by side and say, this is what is granted. But the planning officer, sorry, the inspector at Bristol put various conditions on as well, which will need to be transferred to any other application. So, difficult one. Right, 2016 3670 3 Harpenden Close.
Lost the garage, but still 2 parking spaces for a 3-bedroom house. And it was similar to application for number 1.
Yeah.
No problem with that. Yeah. Right, 2016 3677. Again, we're not really involved in this. Discharge of conditions, tree protections. I could work out what trees were going to survive and what trees were coming down. All I could see at the moment is a huge mound of...
Yeah, I don't know where they've been digging that from. I'm sure they've been taking it from elsewhere.
Huge hole done. God. Anyway, we're not involved in that, so that's not to worry about. Next one, discharge of condition 8, historical building report, likewise in Harpenden House Hotel. We don't get involved in that. So, tick that one. Next one, 2016 3694. 33 Claygate Avenue. I like what we said. No objection provided, no loss of immunity.
That's
I don't think we need to worry about that one.
Yeah.
No one's objected.
All seemed okay.
Next one, 2016 3710, 11 Park Avenue South. I think it's another one. I'll try to find the right. It's another one with a big plot. No problem with this. Exactly what we said. Subject to correct materials being used.
They've actually made some changes to make it slightly smaller. So changes to two-storey size, changes to single story, and changes made to windows and doors on the rear of the property. That's above the balcony.
Yeah. Next one, 2016 3722, single story, 77 Overstone Road. Overstone Road seems to have, every time I look at the list, there's an Overstone Road on it. We've got one at Plants North on Monday.
Yeah, one's done it, they're all copying.
Who has the problem? Yes. I mean, I like what Mim said. I was concerned about how it might affect the street scene. The houses are all sort of a type, because all these Juliet Balconies, which I hate, but to so be. It's.
I thought somebody's got to start changing the street next something. Well, it happens, doesn't it?
You have a point.
That's what it's now about West Common.
Yeah.
There's a break point somewhere.
Somewhere along the line at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I like what you said. We're concerned about the character, street scene. No, don't happy with that one. 2016-3077 advertising consent. Nothing to worry about there. Subject to complying with all the rules and regulations. 2016-3712 certificate of lawfulness. We don't worry about that.
Yep.
Next one, 2016-3740. This one, it's not the one I thought it was. Raising the roof to form a two-storey dwelling with loft accommodation, part single storey, part two-storey extension, first floor rear. I don't think this has got much parking at all, if I'm right.
This one is for a variation of condition 2.
Yeah. Allowed an appeal
So they made,
for raising the roof. So they're making the plans to do what?
there weren't made changes.
Oh, there wasn't too many.
No, and they were made during the building process, and the planning officer was actually okay with the changes, subject to a planning application being submitted according to this.
Right, okay.
So there
I'll
wasn't
bounce it
anything, major on it,
No, okay.
that I could see.
Right,
They were changes to the windows and the French door.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, my apologies.
So
Not one.
Because the appeal had been allowed
Yeah,
on the...
because I did object
Yeah,
to this when it came to St Albans,
yeah,
because of the fact that there was literally no parking
yeah, no.
when it's CPZ. So, what's about to become. Right, not involved in that one. Straight on to 2016-3761, 4 Elsie Gardens.
Yeah.
No, I like what you said again, no
Yeah.
objection provided there's no detrimental effect. No one's complained at the
No.
moment.
No, and there's not major changes, pitch roof on the garage, or you prefer pitch roof
No,
on the garage to
happy with
that?
Certificate of lawfulness, we don't need to worry too much about. 2016-3783. Right. So now we're on to 2016-3730. Non-material amendment again. Don't need to worry about that. Oh, it's I think over again. So there's so many different buildings on this site today, and that, but it's no problem at all. Like what we said. 2016-3745, park garage conversion.
I like what Mim said,
Yeah.
I think.
The loss of possible parking provision on the site.
Yeah.
No, I do like that.
Yes.
Difficult to park on this part of Luton Road anyway. So we've raised concern.
Yeah, they've got parking for 2 cars, but they're losing the garage.
How many bedrooms do we know?
Pardon?
How many bedrooms is that house? Do we know?
I don't know, but they can actually park, because it's that slip road along
Yes.
the back of the 1080.
Oh, right, yes, with you.
So they can actually park on the road because there's no problems and it's not a busy road, so it wouldn't be an issue if they slipped another car, and I think the holders are actually okay with that. So it's not a biggie, to be honest.
Next one, 2016-3748, 2-storey rear, not too worried about that. No comments from neighbours, but we covered ourselves. Next one, 2016-3785, it's already been approved, resubmission following approval, just made some amendments.
Yeah, they've just changed the design from the lantern light in the roof instead of the lux light and different positions to the opening. So
No problem with that.
Okay.
Right, 2016 3688, 33 the uplands, demolition of existing erection on 1. What number was the uplands before?
12.
Oh, 12, sorry. They're all doing it, so I don't see a problem with it. No neighbours objected. Any comments you thought about it?
No, it was the proposed ridge height for this property is 9.5 and the neighbouring property is 10.4. There is an increase in the footprint. Any trees they're taking out, they're going to put replacements in. I'm going to put root protection regarding any remaining trees. Parking is 4 plus a garage for 2, so...
Thank you. Next one, 2016 3717, non-material amendment. They're just putting a front roof light in.
Yeah.
No problem with that. No one's objected. Right, next one, 2016 3724. I like what our officer said. I agree with it completely.
Absolutely.
They haven't amended the original application that was withdrawn sufficiently at all. It's and I think was that a letter of or something I don't know the letter that was sent round today that was sent down, that's right. There isn't another 3-storey property in Netherfield, and I think it's just making one property look. This was the one that they wanted to build the garage in the front garden and have habitable space upstairs. In other words, build a 2-storey.
Oh, I see, yeah.
2-storey garage as such in the front garden, and make it like into 8 bedrooms. But no, it was. But they have amended it slightly, but nowhere near as much as
I have been approached by several neighbours on this particular.
They've got to take out. They've got to take out the third.
They will be very happy with what you've worded there.
No, I think you've done very well there.
Very happy.
I'm very happy with that. It'd be interesting if the applicant goes to the inspector and appeals, how the inspector views all of a sudden creating a house in the road with 3 stories when there's no others.
Yes.
So you'd have a bit of a problem there.
Yes.
Well, I would think so on street scene, especially there, the way the houses, because the houses are all.
And also, it's not anything to do. It's not anything really to do with needing additional, like the accommodation thing, really, is it? Because it's still the same house. It's not building additional properties or things. So
it's just making it ginormous. I know he said because of his having all his extended family staying there. He did write a letter on his original application.
It's not material again.
It's getting late, isn't it?
It's quarter 1. We're not doing very well, are we?
Right, moving on. 2016 3796. Single-storey rear extension. Don't think there's a problem with this. Subject to no loss. Nobody's complained.
Yep.
Next one, 2016 3803, non-material amendment. You don't get involved in that. Nothing to worry about. Right, this next one's interesting. 2016 3643, which is Holly Lodge, 12 Counts Road.
Can I ask a point of information?
Yes.
Residential institutions, does that mean things like care homes, and then going to residential to private housing?
I think flats.
Yeah. I have no objection to this and think it is a good idea.
Well, the only thing I have on it is they're going to chop down quite a lot of trees to build this, and secondly is they've only allocated 1 parking space per flat, and nothing for visitors. So I'm sorry to say, that's the reason.
Can I come in on this one? Because I do live in this road, and I've also been aware of, for the mother-in-law who was in the property, I concur exactly with what the Chair has said here, is parking is the problem. I cannot see that that is provided in any way at all. Currently on the property, you can only get 2, possibly 3 cars at the most, and it's congested at the top of that road anyway. So I concur with what you said, Chair.
So, is that what you raised?
I've raised parking. I couldn't work out how they were actually going to access the property and how the parking works. Because actually,
Yes,
when I
it
looked at the plan, I couldn't see where the parking spaces were. I couldn't see how they were going to go in and out without hitting a car. Right? So I couldn't quite figure it. I'm thinking, well, where is it? So if their entrance is there, and there's a parking space there, and there's parking spaces there, how do you access that one? Because somebody's going to be parked there. It's a bit silly.
I don't know the width of these gaps between.
Mm.
But, no, it's just too many flats on site. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to endorse the comments about parking because I'm growing up there, and it's right near the crossroads.
Right by the crossroads, and quite a busy crossroads. People have difficulty coming round anyway.
Yes, that's
And
right.
the current road use from people is quite difficult anyway.
Yeah,
So
I'll answer
recommend
that. Well, I think the
you as well,
principle's a good idea, anyway.
Ground.
I mean, there's going to have to be a substantial loss of trees on the site to build this.
Well, there's some plans, there's some ones that are very tree happy, so.
So, it's definitely insufficient parking provision for the number of bedrooms completely out of the... One per flat is just crazy.
So we recommend refusal.
Recommend refusal.
Yes.
Straight. Yeah. Good, well done.
Yep.
Right, it's more interesting than a minute to come to. 2016-3692, H2 High Street change of use from storage and distribution of single to 1-bedroom flats. Not a there's no parking there anyway, so it's not a problem. Councillor Weaver?
Yes, I'd have no problem. I concur exactly with what you say. It is part of government policy to see more residential use in town centres, particularly where there are pubs and bars and that sort of thing, and this would comply with that.
So I don't see a problem with it at all. Next one, 2016, please.
Can I just say out, I thought I had
Which one was that last one?
yeah.
Sorry, High Street.
I couldn't see a window in one of the rooms, but I thought it should have a window.
Just to clarify, we're talking about Tucson Lane, aren't we?
No,
H2 High Street.
About head start and that.
Just a window. There is just a window in that bedroom.
Right.
That I can see. See, these are,
I see what I've done.
there's a window there, and there's, there doesn't have to be a window in that bathroom,
No.
because there can be a vent, but I can't see a window in that bedroom, and that's what I don't understand. That's what I'm concerned about.
So has it got a window in the roof? I haven't got
I can't see a skylight.
deluxe windows.
No. And that's the only thing that was worrying me about, shouldn't there be some sort of, because in a bedroom there has to be fire escape windows, because they have to have fire escape hinges on them.
Oh, I see. Right.
I know that's a fact.
Okay.
So where is,
So which
I'm pretty sure they did. So that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, we could put it in special
we can put that down, you know.
Unless it, I just can't see, usually you can tell where their windows, can't you?
Yeah, we usually put time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all, and that looks like a window there in that
Yeah.
bedroom. I know bathrooms don't have to. Kitchens do. And I'm sure ages ago we had a plan in and there was a room that didn't have a window and they fixed it up.
We can say express concern about lack of fire.
The location of the window in bedroom,
On the first.
the bedroom one on the first floor. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. The location of the window.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to put that. My apologies, we jumped on this.
That's sensible.
Or should that be location / existence?
Yeah.
So again, that's building based effectively.
It is, but it doesn't hurt to get it flagged.
Yeah,
No, I think it's a good idea.
I mean,
Can't prove it,
it might have just mean they've just missed off a
Yeah,
headline,
exactly.
but if we can't see it, how can, you know?
Yep.
No,
Good point.
that.
Will the builder see it?
Apologies for jumping ahead. Right,
No.
okay, team. Right, so 5/2016 3751 Tucson Lane. I was involved in the original application on this one because it was discussed by St Albans. It was refused in that respect. I personally, having seen the reasons why the original one was refused, they're still trying to build 6 two-bedroom flats here, and actually I cannot see a dramatic enough improvement or change to change what was refused before.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I was going to say, I'm sure that we considered this one before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I was involved on this one when I was on Plans North actually at the time, and I concur exactly with what Joe said here. It hasn't changed that much here. They're doing all the same objections that we would have had then seem to apply now.
So it should be.
I mean, my view on it is, it went to the inspector who threw it out.
Yes.
So which only confirmed what St Albans had said. So, and I think it needs to make a dramatic improvement. But I just think it's too much on the size of the site that's there. What we're trying to put.
That's all, no objection to that site being developed.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure so. Because
But
it's industrial, half
yeah.
behind you,
Yeah.
with Charles Wilson's storage yard.
The so-called retail part.
Well, I'm looking forward to having a development there, but I just feel that this isn't the right development because it's too overbearing on the site.
It's just too much.
Parking again is considered.
Yeah.
Can we call it overdevelopment?
Yes.
Well, yes. Or they haven't
Insufficient.
addressed the issues for the previous refusal. Are you all happy with that?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to lead from the front here.
Yes, no, I think that's a good idea.
The best I can do is the...
Recommend
Yep.
refusal?
Yep. Right, we're getting there. 5/2016. 3756. Variation of condition. Obscure glazing. We don't need to get involved in that. Again, I like what Mim said. As long as no neighbours has complained, but see what they're happy with. Right, 5/2016 3777. First floor rear extension, garage conversion. This is just really an amendment to the application 5/2016 2662. Dramatic improvement.
They're just reconfiguring the windows on the rear side, elevation, and they're obscured glaze.
So nothing to worry about there. Again, provided no loss of amenities.
Set it up.
Well done, team. Thank you very much indeed. It's
Well done, Chair, I think.
37. Can I thank you all? Thank Mike for joining us this evening. Oh, good. Sorry, what's the agenda? I'm sorry. I'm jumping in. Looking forward to a cup of coffee. Right.
Coffee will keep you
The
awake.
letters of objection we've actually talked about because we discussed them this evening, haven't we, in that respect. We've got appeals going on for Hollybush Lane, Highfield Avenue, Fences Close, 99 Overstone Road, and 141 Crabtree Lane. 99 Overstone Roads coming to Fanton North on Monday night. I've had residents up in arms in. Also on Monday night we do have the football pitches. A lively meeting in St Albans.
So I'll make them sit through the other one first, that'll soften them up.
Right,
So, do we have any prime notifications?
No.
Good. Right, we've gone through the list of decisions, we know about that. The application for tree works, which you could discuss about 20 on Monday night, we don't get involved in. Team, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
On
Thank you very much.
behalf of all of us, can I thank Min for all the work she's
Yes.
done?
Thank you.